Hey, it's Amanda, and you are watching a segment from 100 videos in 100 days. This started out as a challenge to myself to prove that freedom can come from authenticity and vulnerability, and that life doesn't have to be perfect or look perfect, it doesn't have to feel perfect to be valuable, to really be valuable. And that you don't have to wait to share your gifts till it all looks a certain way. And this is also about what the cost is of waiting to share your gifts. I didn't have a YouTube channel before this. I never did a video of myself. I didn't even like to see myself in camera. So am I scared every time I do this? Yes. But I'm here. I'm showing up, because I'm committed to this conversation about freedom. And the freer I get, I believe the freer you will get. So I invite you to participate as you can. There's no editing here. I get one take. So if it all goes to hell, you go with me. There may be swearing, there may be crying. I may get up and walk around. It's the game. It's authentic and vulnerable. I will look different every day. So that's really the point of it, is in life there's no editing, there's no redos. So who are you going to be? How are you going to show up? What would that look like? And what would be possible if you just showed up exactly as you were and let the cards fall? Would that be freeing? It is to me. And if it is to you, I hope you get something out of these. If there's anything that I say that rubs you wrong or feels off, discard it immediately. It's not for you. It's for whoever needs it, and most likely for me. So when this turns off and the next one turns on, I will be sitting here quietly with my eyes closed. You're not walking into any special session that you're not supposed to see. Everything's transparent here. So I started this to have context in the beginning, because I can see people are jumping in the middle of the series, and I just want to make sure everyone feels included. So I will see you soon. Man, I look like a ghost. Oh. Not sure what I'll share. So up all night or till about 2 in the morning, studying physics, quantum theory, the usual nighttime stuff to relax you. And I was watching this documentary about scientists and mathematics. I love math and physics because I think it's the language of spirituality. Can't have one without the other, no matter if this group wants to make it about God and this group wants to make it about everything that isn't God. You really can't separate the two. So what came first, chicken or egg? Who cares? Here we are. And they're interlinked. But math and physics really are the language of love and gratitude. And mathematically they can basically prove that. So I love watching these math things. And I don't know math, I can feel math. Make sense? So when I say it's this, but it's not this, and it's both and it's neither, that completely makes sense to me. Totally. Like, I feel that ring true. So I don't care if a scientist can prove it out, I can feel it in my body. It's like when I learned Photoshop, we hired a lady to come over and teach us all this stuff, and my sister and the girl that worked for us, they both could get it conceptually. So like, this equals this, okay, cool. And I sat there in terror because the symbols, the images, the words meant nothing. If I can't get it in a feeling, it doesn't do me any good. But once I get it in a feeling, I can operate in it. Fine. Don't necessarily have me to reteach it to you. I got to find ways to explain it or demonstrate it. But yeah, we were in like 2 hours learning Photoshop, and I was crying because I had no clue. And then all of a sudden she said one word that I could feel, and I was like, oh, so it's like this? So then I could re-explain it in layman's terms. She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. I think I just kind of wandered off at that point. My sister came in the next day, whatever. I had made all this stuff, and she's like, how did you do that? I'm like, oh, well, once I got this, once I felt it, then I understood all of it. And then, she's like, cool. I hate you. I walked out. Because even though she can cognitively get it, so she can do the mechanics, it's hard to take that and put it into art. So once I feel something, it makes sense to me, and I can completely operate in it, but it doesn't mean I can give you to mathematics. But it's also why I want to teach people in some way or write the book, because I like to take these concepts that feel very complicated and find a way to explain them to people that it makes sense. Give them an analogy, give them a metaphor, give them a way to access it, because it really does make a difference in the way that you live. I mean, the way molecules and physics in general work, it actually very much applies to your spiritual life and the way you act with people. And I think people have separated them, but that's like the yin and the yang, saying they have nothing to do with the other, but they're completely intertwined. You can't have one with the other. So it's good to know this stuff where you can learn it. But one of the big things I got last night was I was watching all these different mathematicians from like 1400 all the way till maybe, I guess, Einstein, something like that. How they had to overcome, so there'd be a belief, whether it's the world's flat or gravity works this way, which gravity is what we've been taught, and a lot of people still believe gravity is a magnetic pull to the surface of the earth, and that's not what gravity is. But even within a group of mathematicians, they get set and fixed on their ways of doing things, like, oh, this totally works, so yep, that's as far as we can go. And then there's always someone that's like, something feels off. I think there's more. How come this? I know this works, I get it, but how come this, or why this? And then everyone gets agitated, like, shut up, we solved it. And then pride and ego comes in, and we're not going past that point. I'm one of those people. So that's why when I go to seminars and stuff, it's not that my mind isn't blown, I don't learn so much stuff, but I can't help go, but if we moved it this angle, then what would we see? And what would be possible if we did that? But for whatever reason, different kinds of questions come into my head, and because I experience both sides of things at the same time, like happy, sad occurs, it's like the same emotion to me. So yeah, I just see things differently, but you get resistance up front, like, no, but that's not the way it works. And for me, so there's probably a lot of mathematicians that maybe did see something, but when you come from past in the mind, and that feeling of that social barrier, what's accepted, it's hard to break through that. That's why they call them breakthroughs. But these scientists, man, the ones that would come forward with new theories, and they were pounded. I mean, some of them were killed. And it takes time, and of course you want to prove it out, but even just new theories that can't ever be proved, or we don't have the technology to prove them, they were threatening to people. But I realized last night that I base a lot of what I do, like my perfection comes, and it always has, like, not just what my parents said or something, but how was God? How was Jesus? Buddha's always laughing in every picture you look at the man, so I'm just going to sit here and laugh, and then I can do that, because if I'm not that, then I'm Buddha, and then I'm not the highest form of being, or whatever my mind locked onto a long time ago. So I remember my dad saying to me one time about that I was behaved because I feared him. And I said, I'm not behaved because I fear you. I don't want to disappoint God. You can hit me, kick me, scratch me, whatever you're going to do to me. My fear is I won't live up to what I'm supposed to be with him. And from the time I was tiny, I was taught, be perfect, be perfect, be perfect. I was told that the word and was short for Amanda in the Bible, in the Book of Mormon. So when I read it, I was told that God specifically put that in there so that I would get the message. And when my dad said that, he was dead serious. And I took it very seriously. And when you're 4, 5, that gets cemented in. So I realized last night by watching these scientists that if they had only stopped where the highest version or the accepted opinion of what things were, or, you know, if who was allowed to think beyond Einstein, right? Who was allowed to, because he was famous, everyone agreed, he was brilliant, he was all these things. And so if you challenged him, it was like saying that Einstein wasn't good enough or that you were better than him. That's not what it is at all. There's something inside that feels off, or something that is being pulled from you that there's to share. And I realized last night, like, so much that I go to these seminars and I think I feel resentful because it's like, well, but why aren't they looking here? And how come they're not addressing this? It's not their job. That may not have been something that they saw. That may not have been in their experience. Maybe they were basing their experiences off what came before them. I don't know. But because I have that thing of trying to be perfect and be really good, well, I, of course, don't want to challenge all these religious theories. I don't want to, or the gurus or the enlightened people, whatever it is. How dare I? Who am I? It's a very easy mentality to fit into. But nothing else is possible if we stop here. Does it matter if we don't figure that out? I don't know. Probably not. But I can't shut down what I feel inside me and second guess myself like, you're not that smart. You're trying to be smart. And whatever this thing wants to tell me. Except I can almost always prove the theories. I mean, I can't do it in math, but with people, if I give it to them or give it to myself, and usually I give it to myself for a long time, I study, it's accurate. And if it's not, well, good. Then I know that one's out and I can take it out. That's why mistakes are so freaking important, and why us all trying to get it right is just wanting the group to accept us so we're not thrown out. It's all about making mistakes. And I'm grateful that those scientists and mathematicians and all the people in the world that are inventors or philosophers, whatever, they were just willing to go with their gut and say, but what about this? And what was interesting is theories that end up being wrong lots of times prove other ones correct that they couldn't prove. But someone's got to put the theory out there. So watching the quantum physics last night, and you know, there's this whole thing about, you know, if you just change your vibration, you can attract anything you want. Just attract it to you. The law of attraction. The law of attraction doesn't work that way. So you go make your vision boards, and you do all the stuff that you're sold to do to be happy. It's the catchphrase you put in there. Let me know how it works. It almost never will. I'm not saying that something on there won't show up, but that's because it got narrowed way down. So what I realized last night is it's okay for me to start experimenting here, to throw out ideas. Because sometimes I get concerned, like, what if I'm saying this and it's not the truth? Well, I still am learning more things by just saying it, and then my mind will later go, yeah, that's right, or no, that one's, but if I'm not saying it and I'm not willing to look, I can't know. So what I was realizing about the stuff and actually studying how the photons and electrons work and the way they connect and the entropy, the entanglement works. And I started writing down a theory today, and I got excited because I have permission to do it. Does it sound like how everyone else teaches creating your life? No. But thank goodness, because guess what? Lots of people aren't doing it, so clearly the message isn't getting through or it's not working. And I would like everyone to have the information. They can do what they want with it, but it's got to be something that makes sense and that you can show can be reproduced. These people they're not going to do it. It's hard enough, because no matter what it is, there's going to be a repetitive muscle you have to do. So I came up with some really good theories today that I'm going to start putting into practice, and I'll start sharing. I think the main thing I'll just say right now is that the whole concept of envision what you want for your life and then just go for it and it will show up. Don't do that. Okay, I'm not saying don't do that. If you want to be a singer and all that stuff, that's great. But you have to believe you can do it. And there's ways to have that happen, or theories I have about that. Theories about how the mind would actually assist you instead of fighting you. That's already showing up. And what else I was going to say? They're showing up. You have to believe it. So you want to start with very small things that are believable, short amounts of time. And I'm going to work on this some more, and then I'll keep sharing and see what I can come up with. What I wrote all morning. This is like 3 o'clock in the afternoon now. And I wrote last night too. So every day, like a new piece is falling in, and then this one's going in, no, moving in, moving out, shifting, like I'm moving this invisible board around. But it's interesting to see what I'm seeing. And there's parts of things that I've heard before, but it has to be put in a new formula. And a new question has to be brought in, and then maybe a new symbol, and it probably makes no sense, but it does to me, and then I can put it into regular language. What was the other thing I was going to say? Why, just for the hell of it, why you want to do something small. So when you have, in quantum physics, you have entanglement, which means you have and I'm probably get the words wrong because now I'm in my head, but you have a photon, but when they're split, they're the same. They're exactly the same. They're not just twins. They are the same thing. So when you measure this one, even if this one is across the universe, billions of light years away, it reacts the same way as if you have focus on this one over there. But in reality, it was like 4 days ago, the Chinese just sent millions of photons into space, or into our orbit, and 911 of them they could measure that when they measured down here, it reacted the same up there. But that's taken a long time to get there because they can only measure it in very closed space. It can't be that far apart that we can measure them. So what that tells me is I think we operate like the universe. So you got to start in small places. And then once you build the trust up, you actually believe the next time you spread it out a little more. And then who you're being starts to show up differently, and that starts to affect things around you. This does get technical, but I think it's really fun. And, we're created in God's image. And God's a creator. Therefore, we are creators. We're also created in the universe's image, cellularly all the way down. We're the same. And it creates. Everything around you creates. We create. So sometimes we think, well, I'm not deserving to be able to create what I want or have what I want. Well, the question really might be, who are you not to? Because you are anyway. You're either creating from the trash bin. Like if you're not paying attention, the mind's like, fine, I'll do it, but it's going to get rocky, and I just got to keep you alive here. So it's going to give you projections out there, and it's going to create from there, but it's going to create from fear in the past. It doesn't have any other way to do it. So that's where these different ideas and theories are coming up about creating and why. And yeah, how and why. So if you don't know why to create, you're not going to. If you don't know how, you're not going to believe you can. And then there's just putting it into practice. So I guess that was for me that was a big thing last night, to even think that I could have the audacity to suggest some things that maybe haven't been suggested before, or take it a new direction, or reconfigure the equations, move some stuff around. But I'm excited because I'm actually feel like I gave myself permission to do that, and that's people's job to do that. If no one had ever done it, we wouldn't have most of what we have. So I'm going to go be my little scientist, and I'll share as I go along.